Hi all. Right, welcome back to more of Labyrinth playing the extended campaign. So this is part 24, I think. Right, so I felt a bit miserable after the end of part 23. I was right kind of down and thought, oh, this is the end of everything, we're all doomed and whatever. But I did say I was going to look over what I was thinking about doing. I've just been thinking about some things. I didn't look over it because I watched part 23 back today when I was on the way into work and looked over on a few bits and bobs. A video about some of the new rules that are going to come in. Hopefully, if we do get to place this new deck, the second deck, I'm sure we can survive for the moment. But anyway, right, okay, couple of comments. Without going deeply into things, if I can help it. Part 21, Tim comments at the 32-minute, 22-second mark. This is us talking about the KSM event. I just clicked on the link there just now. And the fact that it states... Tim mentioned this somewhere else. I'm sure you mentioned this somewhere else, Tim, as well. Was it on BGG? I can't recall. No, actually, I think it might have just been in another part of the YouTube videos. Where's KSM? Come on. Right, there you are. Right, so KSM, the event instructions say, in US if possible, else use pot priorities. Now, I highlight the point at that timestamp that there's no word table there's no word flowchart. However, there's no word table, so it's been confirmed to us now by Adam, or, well, was back whenever confirmed by Adam, that we come here because there's no word table. If we were going to table, we would be coming down here. There's a pot we're doing, is it? Yeah. Else use pot priorities. Sorry, pot priorities. So we'd start up here rather than come straight to the pot here. However, and then before this, yeah. So because it says pot priorities. So, but the confusing part of that was that when we compare that to rule. I'm not really organised here. I should have been a bit better organised. When we compare it to placing plots, is it in here? I think placing plots 12.3.4, it says that jihadist bot sets the country using the plot column of the priorities table on the events or Operation Evil Pack. So that's kind of saying that we don't go there with this one, and we come straight to here, right? But Tim's comment, and I think I mentioned this myself as well, and even John, I think, and I think we're all in agreement with this as well. I think we're all on board with this. I think we all kind of thought, well, there is talk about events overriding the rules and blah, blah, blah. And Jonas says, well, it's not events table, though. You know, it's not that. It's not the events instruction table that should override the rules, but it does involve events, so maybe you could sort of... and I think I mentioned that as well. But so Tim says, I believe in this instance the event instructions override the rule in 12.3.4. Otherwise, there would be no reason to specify US first. Yeah, I'm sure he mentions this elsewhere because that's what he brings to my attention. Yeah, I think I've even spoke about it before. He's commented on it before because if we just if you use the table, the first priority we come to is US. But on the instruction here for KSM, it says in US if possible. So why would it then say in US if possible, but go to the plots priorities table otherwise? Because the US, it's the same, doesn't it? So it doesn't make sense there. Again, all the wording in there could have been far better dealt with. I mean, whether we're picking on little things that don't really have big impacts on the game, but I mean, we are trying to play it and follow these bot instructions. I want to play it properly, so I don't know if maybe we're making more of it than need be, but it seems a little unclear, doesn't it? Anyway, he carries on. Therefore, if the intention was to follow 12.34, there would be no need for an entry in the event instructions at all. And I responded, yes, I like this also. I'm pretty sure I talk about it at some point. Cheers. Yeah, I think I've talked about it already, haven't I? I think Tim's just added it in as another comment here. But I'm pretty sure I've talked about it before. Jean follows up, yes, I agree. For whatever reason, they wanted the KSM event to target the US, then plot priorities, i.e. flowchart, while some other events would target the US then with troops, etc., i.e. table directly. If I find time, I may take a look at the concerned events to see if I can determine why they choose to do so, apart from making our games more difficult to be error-free. Maybe this is just not to take into account the roll chances as it's a place operation and not a plot operation. Flowchart would favour poor then fair then good. Right, I'm not quite sure that I'm soaking all that up. But anyway, he agrees with that as well. He's maybe going to look into more about the events, so that's good. If you do, then fair enough. Same part, 18-minute 47-second mark. To be 100% fair, it seems Trevor Nadam answered lots of questions when Awaken was released almost 10 years ago, as did Carlos on the other side of the hill playthrough. Don't know if Carlos will be so active in 10 years. So what he's bringing up there is me praising the fact that Carlos followed me right through my playthrough at the other side of the hill. A game that's very, very new, quite recently released, whereas this game is, like you say, it's 10 years old. So, and it's a fair point, and I reply to that. It's a fair point that the questions were answered back in the day. And these guys are moving on. They've done other things. They've answered as much as they can here. But I mean, John agrees as well. He's been frustrated by some of the things that haven't been brought forward to the new expansions in the game. These errata pieces that should have been brought forward to it. That's the annoying thing. But fair enough, I get your point there. He finishes with, in fact, if you had asked all these questions at that time, we probably would have had more answers available. Yeah, that's true. You don't think about that, I suppose. 52 minutes, 12 seconds. You can mitigate the danger of getting too large of a difference between soft and hard countries by selecting Germany and Scandinavia as two of the countries. I think this is when I'm selecting Tony Blair. It must be, 52. I mean, because Scandinavia and Germany were both soft. That would have went even worse for me. We would have been even further. We would have either been here or here now, maybe, I think. But, I mean, the die rolls just didn't go well. In fact, let's move on to one of the other comments. That was quite funny. Yeah, from Jean in part 22. This must have been when I was doing the die rolls. 10-minute 57-second mark. Imagine if these rolls had been for a prestige roll, would have increased it by 5. Yeah, I rolled 2 6s. 2 6s and a 5. That's right, yeah, would have moved my prestige by 5, because 6 would have moved it up the way, and then the 6 and the 5 roll would have moved it 5 points to the good, yeah. Okay, and I replied, yeah. Yeah, and Tim commenting, wow, that Tony Blair card was painful. Comment on me using the reserves. Tim says, I would say you don't move the reserve marker until they actually use them. So me just saying, I've got a travel operation. Let's just say they've got this. I've got a travel operation. I've got 1 ops. Let's take the other 2 ops. He's saying that we should wait and take them. I suppose it maybe does make sense. I think it proved that it didn't make any difference at the time, did it? And it possibly might not matter at all the way it's worked, because if you're not taking them for the operation, well, I suppose the problem for me is, if you can only travel, let's just say we get a travel operation and we've got 1 ops and we've got 2 in the reserves, and let's just say we can only make 1 point of travel. Does that not mean that we'd use the 1 ops and we wouldn't be able to touch the reserve, and then that's their phase over? It's unlikely to not be able to travel, but I'm just giving an example. Maybe there's other things I could give as say there's one cell on the track and we've got one ops to recruit. Okay. So this is where it surely would matter, would it not? I've got this thinking right. If we've got one cell on the track, a one ops card, we come down the flowchart, we get to recruit. Let's just say we're going to recruit in Afghanistan. Right, that doesn't make sense. We're going to recruit in Pakistan. We've got 2 reserves there, but we've only got 1 cell. So what Tim's way of saying that is that we're not going to touch the reserves because we can't use them yet. So we recruit 1 cell off the track into Pakistan, then that's our ops over. That's our operation done. I don't think we can come back and then use these 2 reserves for radicalisation, can we? Whereas if I'd done it my way and we add the 2 reserves, we've got 3 ops now. I'll put that back because it was at 0 anyway. We've got 3 ops now, 1 cell on the track, we recruit it, the other 2 cells we can't recruit anymore, we use them for radicalisation. So there definitely is a difference there, isn't there? And I'm not quite sure. Leave that there for you guys at 11 minutes or so. That sounds right. That sounds like that would work out different. I might be not thinking about it properly, but so carry on. Right. So here's where we're this Islamist rule thing and the whole covert action, and I did sort of feel I should have looked more into it, I suppose, and there's no way I would sort of say, right, let's move that to there. What are ideas in there? Get that to poor, without looking more into it. So, but we can't do that. We can't do it. So at the 50-minute 33-second mark, and both this is from Tam, and then 53 minutes 10 seconds from Jean, basically saying the same things. Technically, you could shift an Islamist rule country to neutral, but there is no benefit in doing so. The only operation the US can perform in an infrared country, I keep wanting to say that, in an Islamic ruled country, is regime change. So the alignment of the country is irrelevant. And he highlights, as does Jean, in the next bit, highlights rule 7.1.1. Which tells you straight there, Islamist rule. So if the country is Islamist rule, here's the requirements for it. You would need a 1 ops requirement for good, a 2 for fair, a 3 for poor. So only a 3 you can do there, but you could use a 3 cost card for that, or that for that matter. However, Islamist rule, regime change only using a 3 card. That's the only thing that you can do. And it's quite clear in the rules. And it doesn't talk about it elsewhere, but it talks about it there, and that's fine. It doesn't want... it's maybe something that a sort of rule set that doesn't repeat itself too much, and that's not a bad thing. It can sometimes make you wonder at points, why didn't it say it there? But as long as it does say it somewhere that's relevant, and to read Jean's reply, for once we can't blame you for having stopped reading too early, but so I must have got it proper there. The rule you were searching for was above 7.1.1. Yeah, so was I reading below that? Oh, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I've just showed you the rule. There's only one possible operation there, a regime change. So yes, it can play the event to move Egypt to neutral. Neutral Islamist rule, but you won't be able to do anything else than a regime change, though, which would move it to ally in any case. Yeah, so it's a waste of time. Yeah, okay. So fair enough. Thanks for that, guys. Thanks for bringing it to... I knew you would point it in my direction. I think that's that. Reserve marker... Oh, right, I've had a just recent comment from Hamler 13 minutes ago. What a complete and utter disaster. This is part 23. What a complete and utter disaster. Hopefully you can change your posture or get lucky with weak, so it naturally changes you to hard. I guess Tony Blair was a blessing in disguise, since your prestige would have tanked to 1 regardless. Yeah, I don't know, but it looks like a one deck game again if luck doesn't start going your way. Yeah, I mean, it does look grim. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, so what are we doing? Oh, yeah, no, damn. Just put my. Right, can I get off my phone? Right, hang on a sec. I left a comment in the header. Well, can you not just. I left a comment in the header part 23, and I was hoping somebody might comment on it. Of course, it's just in the header, it's not in the video footage. But I started thinking that I might have been not reading this properly. And we're talking about. I was talking last night about when we play this card, it's got draw a card at the bottom, right? There's no cards left in the draw pile, right? We've got, I mean, I've got 3, 6, I've got 9 cards in my hand. I think the bot's got 7, because it's played 2. Anyway, so if I play that card, it says draw a card, right? I can't do that though. So, but this rule is this rule 5.3 on page 7 of the base rules, and this applies as far as I'm aware. I'm saying as far as I'm aware, I mean, I just, yeah, okay. Give me a sec. But read this. Whenever a card is to be drawn, but the draw deck is exhausted, which would be the case right now if we played that card, right? Reshuffle the cards in the discard pile and lapsing in first plot boxes to create a new draw deck and advance the deck marker 1 box to the right. Okay? But I'm not going to read that last sentence just now. So, if we're playing a 3-deck base game right now, okay, and I play that Tora Bora card, okay, and we do all this stuff on it, and we get to the last bit, draw a card, okay? What it's saying there is I should shuffle up, reshuffle the cards in the discard pile, okay? Not, these have been removed from the game. This is the discard pile. So I'll shuffle up the cards, and if there was any lapsing event cards, right, they all get shuffled up, and first pot boxes, right, but we're not been using them, because I think that's just a 2-player thing, to create a new draw deck, and then we would advance this to here, to the second deck. I've got that. I do that in the wrong. 3 decks, 2 deck. Yeah, it means there's 2 decks left, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as we. Then we advance that to there. We've got a newly shuffled deck. Now that's all it says. It doesn't say anything about we get rid of our cards, we stop playing with these cards. Now, the issue here is going to be that we're not going to be using that deck again. We're going to be using the new Awakening deck, which does a bit more. It changes some things in the map. It brings in new rules, obviously, but I don't think I'm going to find anything new in the new rules that's going to differ from this. So what I think we should do is, and this is what I left the comment in the header, could it mean that I just shuffle up the Awakening deck? Right, now I think it's seeded in 2 halves, that deck. I'll need to look into that as well. So shuffle up that deck, and basically just create a new draw deck, and not just end this turn, but play these cards out, and play the box cards out. I don't know though, because then these are going into a discard pile that's got a different deck. I'm not sure. I mean, initially I thought, I think I even said it, but nobody's commented on that. The fact that I assumed we would just scoop up these cards. You know, if I played this Tora Bora card, we would just scoop up these cards, put all these cards away, put his cards away, put their cards away, bring out the Awakening deck, and then start deck 2. But I'm not so sure now. I'm not so sure if what I just said might happen. Because I think if we were playing if we were playing 3 decks of the base game, I don't think we would discard our cards or get rid of our hands. There's nothing to say that, is there? It doesn't. It just says to create a new deck and advance the deck marker 1 box to the right. And then if it was the game ends shuffle, the game immediately ends. But we're not ending. We're moving on to a different deck. Discarded and remove cards cards in boxes and the number of cards in each size are open to inspection. Yeah, okay. So that's, yeah. So I'm not sure here. I think I'm going to try avoid and just playing that Tora Bora card, but so let's look at the new rules then. I thought I better get the actual extended campaign game out. I mean, this is the rules for Forever War, which I don't think brings in too many new rules, but again, we're not going to see that until deck 3. But this is playing, when it says extended campaign game, it's one deck of the base game, one deck of Awakening, one deck of Forever War. So you set up as per Let's Roll. Game length is 3 decks. One deck using Labyrinth cards, followed by one deck using the Labyrinth Awakening cards, as blended in the Arab Spring scenario. That's why I think it's seeded into 2 halves. Followed by one deck of Labyrinth Forever War. The cards are never shuffled, and the game will take approximately 20 turns to run to completion. And then special rules. So the cards are never shuffled. Yeah, I mean, that's all common sense. That's all fine. Talks about Mali marked events, jihadist personality cards, operations. Right, here we go. Since there are no reshuffles after the game commences, the discard deck will become quite large, and all of these cards are available to be retrieved by events such as oil price spike. So, okay. Yeah, so in actual fact, we don't get rid of this deck. The discard pile is still valid for the rest of the game. I mean, I'll be separating that a bit in the different pile. But that makes more sense too, because when we discard these still base game cards, they can go on top of this discard pile. And then once we've got rid of all the base game cards, we'll have the new Awakening discard pile. But these will still be valid to go and get with oil price spike, right? So that's making sense, isn't it? And then this is where it says that Yadan. Now, the Labyrinth Awakening expansion rules, play a raid card and end the turn sequence commence with the first card draw from deck 2. So the first time we draw a card from deck 2. Now, see, the thing is, if I play that Tora Bora card, that'll happen right then and there, won't it? At that moment, place all, yeah, we fill in some of these rules and certain things happen. And that's it, really. Yeah, I'm looking at that a bit more. So, I'm still not 100% sure about this, though. Nobody's commented on that, like I say, because I do remember saying, I take it you just scoop the cards up and move on to the next. But that what I've just explained there sounds more like how it should go. And we shouldn't just do away with all these cards that we've got in our hands right now and play this turn out. Like I say, I think to play things safe, let me know your thoughts on that for sure. I think to play things safe is I'm going to avoid playing this card for the event. Unless I leave it to my very last card play, which would work. Well, I think it would work. Because I'm not so sure. Let me know your thoughts. If I play this card right now and draw a card, what happens? Was it what I said last night and we scoop up all the cards and we move on to the new deck? We discard, we get rid of all his cards, all our cards. That doesn't sound right now, does it? Or do we do what I've just said just now? We move this discard pile aside, we get out the new Awakening cards, we carry on playing this turn with all these cards that we've got, discarding them into the old pile, the base game cards, and then, but we're drawing in new cards. So I'm not sure though. Then there's a combination of 2 cards. Now, if we were playing 2 players right now, both of these have got different backs. The cards have got different backs. So if you were keeping these hidden from your opponent, he's going to know what you've got a base game card or an Awakening card. So I'm not sure if there should be a mixture of the 2 cards in play. So yeah, that's sounding a bit iffy as well there now when I'm thinking about that. So okay, let me know what you think about all that, and I still think I'm maybe going to hold off that Tora Bora card. To be honest though, it's quite a decent event. But we've probably got more things to worry about than than some of what I've just talked about there, because you might end the game might end sooner than this happens, Grant. As we know, we're now sitting on 5 resources, with Egypt and Pakistan, 2 for Pakistan, 3 for Egypt. We're on soft posture. We've only got 5 troops on the track. So even if we were hard right now, we could still send 1 troop back to the track, then carry out a regime change. So we could do that, but we need to be hard first. To become hard, we need to reassess, which requires 2 3-ops cards. They're the only 2 3-ops cards we have. This one's really bad. This one's not so great, but when we were reading this last night, this is a potential way of possibly... Now, yeah, this is what I was thinking about when I was at work today. Can I play this for 3-op? When I do a reassessment... Well, what does it say here? Play 2 3-value cards, taking up the entire US action phase. Yeah. I was hopeful that I might be able to play this for the first half of a reassessment, right? Trigger the event, see what happens, but it looks like I've got to commit to playing the 2 3-ops cards, haven't I? It looks quite clear there that that's what you need to do. Because this, I think I'm going to do this. This is a chance of us rolling hard for a posture. I mean, initially, okay, we're going to have that 1 penalty. Now, when we do a US posture roll, we get a +1. So it's a 50-50 roll, isn't it? Yeah, +1 for the thing. So, yeah. Yeah, so a 1 to 3 will be soft. Basically, with the +1, it's going to be a 4 to 6. Make it hard, won't it? But I sort of feel like we need to do this. Right. Well, could we move? And the other thing is, we could play our hand out and just survive with the 5 points that they've got. They may well start trying to take over other things, like Somalia's got Busy's regime, so is Central Asia. Okay, there's a big bunch of troops there, a couple of troops here as well, fair enough, but Iraq's now got a cell in it. Poor adversary, nothing we can really do in it. It plonks another 4 cells in there. There's only 3 in the track, but gets 3 in there. Travels another 1, major jihad, game over. That could all happen in the turn. This happened so quick. So it could all happen within this turn. I think we've got to act now. I did think at first, right, well, we could just see out the turn. And I said we can't get a +1. They're not oil producing, so oil spike cards won't work. I did point out the Caliphate capital, when it comes into play, adds a resource, gives them a resource while it's in play, and that would win the game as well. So, but that's not until we see the new cards too. So we've got these cards to play with. Well, I'm just saying that this could actually go that way. I'm really, really struggling here. I didn't realise. Have I been unlucky, or have I just been playing terribly, or I don't know. Feels like there has been a bit of bad luck, but the other part of that comment might be correct too, that I've been playing terribly. So that's just fair enough. But I'm worried about the game ending, because I don't want it to be just another 1-deck game like Hammer's just said. I want to move on to the new deck. I want to see the new cards, and also then the 3rd deck as well. So let's just see what we can do. So it is our turn. They played their turn. I can't see myself doing the reassessment by playing both these cards, because the events are all going to... I've got to take a chance with this, I think. But then that does mean, if I play that card on its own, I can't do a reassessment this turn. And that means we're soft for the rest of the turn. Unless by playing this, we get the new deck shuffled up and we draw some 3-ops card, I guess. But I'm not quite comfortable in thinking that if I do play this card, that's what happens. So that feels like a bit of a gamble we might be doing it wrong. I mean, admittedly, if I did draw a 3-ops card off the top of the new deck with us, I would still then be able to use Martyrdom up. Not that I want to use that, but that and the other 3-ops card to do a reassessment. And then I suppose the next turn I need to send a troop back to the track for one of my card plays, and then that's the thing, Grant. You're not going to have another 3-ops card. So it'd be send some troops back to the track in one phase, and then the next phase I need to put something into reserves to get 3-ops to do a regime change. And by that time, Iraq could be like Islamist rule as well. Yeah, and I can't do anything in here. It's adversary. I mean, okay, yeah, we'll all remind ourselves we've got this card, and that may well be where we're using it, but okay. I feel like I've always felt when I was at work today that I'm going to take a chance and play this card. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with 3-ops. I was hopeful that I could use it towards a possible reassessment, but it seems clear that I can't do that way. I need to use both cards at the same time. So okay, Grant, come on. Let's yeah, that's fine. Let's just go for it. Let's just try the best we can. I don't really think I can do anything better. I need to work on getting one of these back, regime change in one of these countries. And I'm not sure which one I would pick, by the way. I was thinking, well, there's lots of nice juicy cells to disrupt here, which I can't do while we're at Islamist rule adversary. And there's only one here. But remember, when we put 6 troops in there, to do War of Ideas, you need 5 more troops and cells. So we would regime change and also be with War of Ideas in there. No, I don't think that's a good idea, look, Grant. That's a better target, isn't it? I think so. Okay, so what are you going to do with the 3-ops, though? Well, it doesn't... Yeah, you carry out the event first here. Okay, right, give me a second. Right, okay, I'm probably going to run out of time here. I'd like to hope I can finish this as a part. So let's just go for this. Let's play a week, and let's carry out the event first, and see what happens. So this is a playable event because wiretapping is an event that's in play. So it had to be one of these 3 events that were in play for to make this a playable event. So we're going to have a look at card 85, isn't it? 85 week. Well, there's actually 2 of them, 84 and 85, but this is 85. So, week. Revelations of Harsh US Interrogation Techniques, 2004. Secret Delivery of Terrorist Suspects to Third Countries, 2005. And Warrantless Domestic Surveillance, 2005. Embarrassed allies and gradually turn US discourse toward a softer posture in the fight against terrorism. Okay. So, wait, controversial US program exposed. We've already said how it becomes playable. That's the little grey text there at the top, play if. I know it doesn't come through very well in the camera. So we'll flip one of these such markers blocking the event. Another thing that's got in the event instructions is if multiple markers, I think you randomise them, don't you? Yeah, if multiple markers select randomly. Well, we've only got the one, the wiretapping. So there's wiretapping, the event that's in place. So we flip that over and you can see it as the week blocking it. Now, I mean, that stays there like that, so I don't know if possible other wiretap cards might come along and they're going to be blocked by that, I assume. So, okay. Right, that wasn't the big bit. The big bit's just about to happen. So we're going to do it in this order. I mean, I assume you do these things in the order written on the card. I'm not even going to go and look into that. So we're going to roll yes posture, and then, I mean, to be honest, it says and then, so we would do that first, then that second. And then shift an ally to neutral probably isn't relevant to the order and what you do it, but I suppose it might be, but follow the card text, yeah. Let's not look for things that are just going to make more things, yeah, whatever. Right, so roll yes posture and then prestige. And then we're going to shift it. Well, we'll come back to the shift an ally to neutral. So the first one is roll yes posture, okay? Right, and you can see that our posture is soft. And we're wanting to get lucky here and roll hard. Like I say, we could guarantee this by playing both this weak card and Martyrdom Operation as a reassessment. Whether I should be doing that instead. See, because I could avoid the Martyrdom Operation if I got lucky here. Well, it doesn't matter if I get lucky or not, because then the Martyrdom Operation is the only 3-ops card I've got in my hand, so I'm just going to stick with this. I hope this die roll goes in my favour, because if it doesn't, then we're just going to have to hope things don't go bad for us, I think. Right, let's do this. So we're at soft and we want to go hard. So we're going to do a posture roll. A US posture roll though. So with that, we roll a die, and if we're setting US posture, we want plus 1 to the roll. We want to go hard here. So we need a 4, 5, or a 6. Remember, we get a plus 1. We need get a plus 1, but we need a 5 or a 6. Okay, this is huge, I feel. Yeah, so a 4 or better. Need that. No! Oh, a 3! Okay. Well, we give it a shot. Right, so unfortunately we stay soft. Which now we're just in the lap of the gods, I think, really. They play out their hand and, I don't know. I mean, unless I find out more about how the deck ends and find out more about, not just this particular card, Tora Bora, but drawing a card right now, what does it do? It feels like what I've just explained in this part earlier on there is what it does, and our hands don't just disappear. So, if that's how you believe, that's not going to help you then, Grant. Because what I'm thinking about is getting a new hand, getting some new 3-ops cards, and doing the assessment, you know. Which is maybe what I should have done. Thing is, if I'm doing the assessment, I would have had to roll that first. Oh, you could have... oh, yeah, you could have done that, couldn't you? You could have done it depends, you can do the order you want, so you do the event first, Well, you do that event first. You maybe don't need to do the martyrdom operation first. See if you got lucky with that, but then... But if you went hard posture there, do you not then have to go soft? Because you chose to reassess? And vice versa, if I'd done the reassessment before the event and we rolled... we went hard and then rolled a 3 on that and went soft again. So, yeah, I'm not sure that would have panned out very well for us. Well, it didn't go very well for us anyway. Right, we're going to also roll our prestige. So let's see if we can get some joy with that. So a prestige roll. It's not modified by -1. We're not in a global war and terror penalty. So it's just a straight up roll. But 1 to 4 it's going to... Well, 1 to 4 is going to do nothing because it can't drop anymore. There's no point rolling other dice. If we get a 5 to 6, we've got a chance of rolling 2 dice and shifting it up by the lower die. So, yeah, I mean, we need a 5 or 6. To be honest, if this is a 1 to 4, there's no point rolling these other dice. Oh, right. Well, I would have preferred that for the first roll, though, to be honest. Right, so we are going up the way. So we need 2 dice. And we're going to raise our prestige by the lower of these two dice. That's really good. Right, so we're going to increase it by 4. Well, that's helpful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back up to medium, I think where we were. Well, I think we might have been down there. Yeah. Actually, I think we were down in the low column, so that's good. So we got half of that. If we'd got this as well, I would have been really quite excited to move on, but anyway, no. Yeah. Okay. Right, so I still don't know what I'm doing with my 3 ops, but we've not finished this. We've got to shift an ally to neutral. And I want to say, whether it's a wee bit cheeky looking ahead to these things, I sort of feel like it is a little bit to find out what they're going to do before you sort of make your choice of playing your cards. I don't know, it's always open information. You can always look at this and look at the flowchart, so I don't know if it's bad or not. I mean, the bot does get to cheat a little bit, so maybe it's fair. Because I did look into this, what ally is it going to shift to neutral, and I think we worked out it was going to be Somalia, yeah? And that was just to sort of try to get a heads up of how bad this could end up being. I kind of thought it might be Afghanistan. I mean, any one of them's bad. But let me go and make sure that we do have that right. I think we need to look at it's the alignment shifting here, isn't it? I looked at this already though. So 12.3.7, alignment and governance. When an event instructs to shift alignment, that's what we're doing, or alter governance, well, we're shifting alignment. Jihadist bot selects the target country using the jihad column of the priorities table, right? So we've got to shift an ally to neutral following this column. Okay. So the first one is if it was a jihad, it's not. Next one's Pakistan. Well, it's got to be ally, remember. Pakistan is not an ally. Next one is Baziz regime. Okay, and then we get a result. So Somalia's an ally with Baziz regime. We do also have Central Asia, a Baziz regime, but it's a neutral. So yeah, it is indeed going to be Somalia. So that goes down to neutral. Which doesn't feel terrible, that, I suppose. Doesn't feel terrible. Right, so now you've got 3 ops. So, well, I've got my prestige back up. We've no... right, hang on. Oh man, I really wish my gaming room was on the same level as the door, as the front door. Right, okay, I'm out of breath. Okay, so we've got 3 ops. This is our first card play. Yeah, we've dealt with the cards event, yeah. Events, everything's been done. Right, so, well, we didn't change the hard. And now, like I said, unless I can play this card and draw another card, and we know exactly how to go about that, and that's the only way of me ending up with 2 3-ops cards this turn. And even, like I've said, I don't know if that would be legal or not. So I think the better way is just to think we're not going to be able to reassess this turn. So what can we do to prevent from losing? Well, they do need one more point. So they do need to gain Islamist rule and one of these other countries. Yeah, okay. Also, some things we could consider is making sure we've got 6 troops back on the track. Well, now here's the thing. We could work on trying to get this regime change sorted. Them have got access to these 6 troops. That means this needs to shift to ally first, then needs to go fair, then needs to go good. So there's a bit of work there. It has an adjacent good ally. We're not getting any pluses on a prestige. It would be nice to have got the prestige up to there. However, before we can do a war of ideas, yeah, that's a good point. Before we can do a war of ideas, we need to get 5 more troops and cells. So we need to 2 disrupts in there. Would give us 2 prestige. Would that get rid of? Yeah, it would. So that would bump us up to high in prestige. I mean, that's 2 3-ops cards as well. I don't want to play Martyrdom Operation. Oh my. I mean, the original thing I thought, well, let's just stop them from trying to get another Islamist ruled country. There's nothing I can do about Iraq. However, I could with Somalia, even though that it went from ally to neutral. I could, we've got troops in there as well. I just don't know. Well, yeah, you've got 3 ops right now, Grant. So do I just disrupt in Central Asia, maybe? I can take. There's only 1 cell active there, isn't there? I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah, there is. Let me put that down at the side. So doing a disrupt there right now, my choice would be to remove 1 cell and make 1 cell active, which means there's still 2 cells there, or flip the 2 inactive ones to active. Either option, I don't think matters. I suppose I'm putting 1 cell back to the track with the first option. And then next turn. Yeah, well, this is only your first card, Grant. Yeah, but I can't do a war of ideas now there anyway until we get rid of the cells. Okay, so yeah, and Somalia's covered a bit with the troops, Grant. Let's do that. So with my 3 ops, I'm going to do a disrupt action in Central Asia. We have troops there. Nothing to do with being. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So of course we've got troops. Because we've got troops, it's going to affect 2 cells, and it'll add 1 prestige. So I think I'm not going to put the cell back to the track, I don't think. I'm just going to activate both these cells. I don't know if that's smart or not. I'm not sure if it matters or not. But oops, that's what I'm going to do. Right, that's my disrupt operation. Because I've 2 troops there, I'm going to gain 1 prestige. We're up to 6. Right, so now that's just my first card play. So, and like I say, I'd like to just do that again right now, but the only other 3 ops card I've got is Martyrdom Operation. which I really don't want to play. So, what about the events? Let me just glance at my events then. Right, hang on a sec, I might change that. Because if there was one of these active, two were down, weren't they? Yeah. I'm just thinking I could use special forces to remove, whether there's a cell in or adjacent to a country with troops, remove the cell. To remove the cell there. So if I was to not do it that way, then my next card play could be a War of Ideas in there. And because, yeah, that's better, Grant. Now, have you got any other cards that might... Not really, no. Okay. Right, yeah, I'm going to change that. I'm going to alter that slightly. I'm still disrupting in there, so we've got the prestige already. What I'm going to do is remove that cell back to the track and flip one cell. And then for my second card play, I just realised I was watching back when I was watching, what was the guy's name? Late Night Gamer. He doesn't seem to do any videos anymore, but he'd done quite a few on Labyrinth. I quite liked his stuff as well, but some people, I suppose, drift away and do different things. Move on. Yeah, I noticed he was playing, but once the awakening reaction markers in, you're meant to put awakening markers at the left-hand bottom corner of the country to signify, and that's the sort of US side of things, and then the other. I've always seemed to have played it the other way around, so I don't want to mess with, because it actually says in the rules, not that it's like biggie, but it says in the rules to place these at the bottom left-hand corner and reaction markers at the bottom right-hand corner. So I should really have the troops on that side and the cells on the other side. I know it's not a huge big deal, but I think once I move into once the awakening markers come in, I'm going to do that and make sure we keep our troops on the left and the cells on the right, and just to keep it all clean and whatever. Right, so yeah, and I did the prestige for that, and then my second card play, I'm going to play Special Forces, play if there's a cell. Well, actually, we need to play this. We're playing this for the event. So card number 9. So you can see there's 3 of these, 8, 9 and 10. Special Forces, widely deployed in the Afghanistan and Iraq wars. US and other Western Special Forces provide a potent capability to work with local forces to search out militant cells in country and potentially to deny them sanctuary across national borders. Yeah, so play if there is a cell in or adjacent to a country with troops, remove the cell. And I'm going to play it, this is a country with troops, and I'm going to remove the sleeper cell. And you can probably see that now I've got 5 more troops than cells, so my next card play could carry out a War of Ideas there. But I never took the prestige. Damn it. Well, at least it'll allow me to do... no, I mean, that Tora Bora card rolls prestige as well, which I don't want to do now because I'm quite settled with that. If it rolled posture, I'd be all for it, but is that the right thing I've done? I think so. I mean, because I'd still need to have played another Disrupt next turn. I've not got a 3-ups card, well, unless we're counting this. So it would take up my whole turn again to do that, whereas I can go for a War of Ideas next turn by spending 2 cards. That's kind of rubbish all around, isn't it? Because I'd be spending my next turn just doing a Disrupt in there. We're getting a +1. +1 to the die roll's not bad. +2 is far better, Grant. Yeah, but I can't, oh, well, you say you can't, right? How about trying a posture change? Yeah, the thing is, I'm not sure where we want to be now, if we want to be soft or hard. Yeah, that's the dilemma in itself, isn't it? Okay. Right, let's just leave it at that, I suppose. It doesn't feel brilliant, but yeah, I'm really struggling to do much at all, you know, so right, okay. Right, that was my 2-card play. 2 cards played. They're just going discard, and that'll be that. Right. Will I? You know what, that's 55 minutes. I'd rather copy this across because I'd like to get this video out here regarding the talk of how we transition into the new deck, how it that Tora Bora card, how me drawing a card right now, what does it exactly do, and then at least this time I've not just left it in the header of the video, it's actually in the video playthrough, you know, so that's generally gets picked up easier. A lot of folk don't look at the headers of the videos, to be honest. So yeah, let's do that. Well, mind you, I'm probably not going to get any more done tonight anyway. Right, I'll stop and start and we'll get the next bit started. So I'll be back shortly. Cheers.